one. What's up, guys? Studfit here, joined by my good friends for episode 21 of Kart Talk. Thank you guys for joining. We have two of our super studs that you've met before, Larry98 and ThisBeChris. How are you guys doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Yeah, can't wait for the next car talk.
Yeah, man, we got two action-packed hours here with everybody. We're gonna be talking about everything from the Amsterdam tour to the Doctor tour to me suits. We got a lot of fun topics. We'll get into that. But before I do, I want to introduce three of my good friends. We'll actually start. Start with Europe. We'll move to America. So we have two from over the pond. We first will introduce DKQuagmire. Thanks for joining us from the UK.
Hello, good to see you, Studfit.
Yeah, we've been friends for a while. It's good to have you on, man, and a lot of people putting a face to a name. It'll be a lot to talk about there. And we also have Rakker, 85. Welcome, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, we got some fun topics. Each guy is really bringing some unique perspective, and maybe we'll do this in reverse order because I think it makes sense based on where we are in the tour. But Rakker, you actually live not far from Amsterdam, right?
Yeah, correct. It's a 25 minutes drive. I live a little bit north of Amsterdam at the coast and been to Amsterdam, obviously, a lot.
Yeah, so some of the unique perspective you're gonna bring here is some. I'd love to hear kind of your experience of Holland and Netherlands. I don't know if you were born and raised there, but tell us a little bit about Amsterdam as well. And then you're using this unique opportunity to be able to go for top 100 for the very first time, and you're already making a huge push. So why don't we start there, and we'll get around to everybody kind of sharing their experience. But first of all, we already know where you're calling today, but how'd you get started playing Mario Kart Tour? What's your thoughts on, and maybe we'll start just on how you got started playing, and then get into a little bit of your experience with the Amsterdam tour. Did they nail it? Did they whiff it? Tell us a little bit about your experience starting, and then the Netherlands and Amsterdam specifically.
Okay, sounds good. Obviously, calling from the Netherlands, a small town called Haarlem. It's north of Amsterdam. I guess I started playing. Well, initially started playing Mario Run. Some of you may have also played that. And after a couple of days, I was like, okay, that was fun. And now what? and then it took quite a while from that game. But at some point, I just saw Mario Kart Tour in the App Store and was like, well, let's try this out. So I wasn't really pointed to it. I think I was playing Clash of Clans quite a lot. Also a mobile game. So already was familiar with the whole mobile gaming, and I think first year I played quite casually, on and off, gold pass. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I just had fun doing the challenges and all. And then after a year, I became continuous gold pass, and then here and every now and then a pack. And I guess this year it started to kick off a little bit more with one, two, and sometimes three packs a tour, but only items that I can use. So if they're all items that I don't have in my inventory or never going to use, I won't buy that pack. So for instance, for this tour, the Vacation Beach pack was very nice because buying that twice took her from 6 to 7. Without any tickets. So that's kind of the level I'm at. I think you could call it a 3, 4, perhaps some tours a 5 or 6. But on average, I guess a 4 on a wheel scale.
Point scale. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I wasn't really planning on going for top 100. I mean, I've been going towards top 100 for quite a bit. Usually my predicted score using the DKR spreadsheet is around about 100%. So that would mean a perfect score on all of the 36 tracks to get to top 100. I mean, that's not something you do for fun. I think you're quite burned out if you would try it. But this tour, I had a very bad loadout for basically all ranked tracks, but that changed if you invest into Rosalina Voldendam. which I did. And after doing that, and also, well, if you pull for her, you kind of also want to pull for the cart because it's big and you're already going into the pipe. And the cart was the first thing I got, and later on, Rosalina. So I leveled up the cart and the driver, and looked at my score then, and I think I was at 92, 93%.
Wow.
Is what I needed to score to get probably top 100. So that's quite doable. And then I said, well, okay, let's do it.
Let's just do it. I like it.
Yeah, let's
I
just
like
do
it,
it.
man.
Well, yeah. I think we may get into it more later on.
Yeah.
But let's just do it. Sounds easy, and it's definitely not. It takes a lot of time, and on some tracks, way too much time. I think, one thing, Amsterdam, I really love it. It's really nice to have a home tour and see all these things you recognize. I think Antilev also mentioned it on the rundown. That they clearly missed out a couple of things, and that's a shame. I mean, they could have done better. But it's quite likely that there's nobody from Netherlands in the American team, developer team. That's quite likely. So you can't really blame them, but I'd love to see the metro, bicycles. There are bicycles everywhere. Perhaps I'm a soccer fan myself, so why is the Amsterdam arena, the Johan Cruyff arena, the football stadium not there? And there are a couple of other things missing. There's a pretty big part that looks like Daisy Hills. It doesn't really fit the city nor the country. Our country is flat as a pancake. So I'm not sure why these hills are there. But there's a lot of cool things, and it's just a very enjoyable tour for somebody who's from here.
Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate some of that insight as to the Amsterdam tour. We'll talk a little bit more about what's going on in the game this tour in a second, but I also want to make one last introduction for those who hadn't known about him prior to I guess 2 or 3 weeks ago. We have Crazi join us. You're very familiar with him here recently, thanks to his 70K run. So, Crazi, welcome thanks for joining us, and tell us a little bit about your experience with. Over the last couple of weeks, now that you got this 70K run, is this something you thought about for a long period of time and you just kind of waited for your time? Tell us a little bit about that experience before we get into the show.
Yeah, man. So, hey, first I'd like to thank Studfit. I never would have thought to get on the show, but hey, he sent an invite to me, and I appreciate that. So with this 70K, so I've been playing since day one. I have quite the funny account story, but it's quite the long story. But basically, with the 70K, back in the space tour when 3DS Member Road came back, one of my good friends on the Discord, his name is Hyperino, he set a massive world record run, 330 actions on the regular variant of 3DS Member Road. So I'm like, okay, that's awesome. Now I want to beat that. So at the time, I was just investing in some of the items from that space tour gradually because they all had their Rainbow Road tracks. And I knew when that track returned, I would attempt for a high score. Well, it didn't come back for months. It was absent even after New Year's, Singapore, Wario versus Waluigi. But it wasn't even back when level 8 dropped. But what did happen when level 8 dropped was I realized, okay, now maybe 70K is possible, because before that it was not possible. So in addition to just maybe beating his 330 actions, I'm like, maybe I can be the first 70K, or I can be one of the first. No other track, I mean, in the Me Tour was like a good enough for scoring to make that viable. So we kind of just waited. Samurai Tour happened. I grinded for top 100, got 99% on the DKR. It was exhausting grind, but it was well worth it. And then the next tour, it was tough timing because I just came off of an ACR grind, but I had the 3DS Member Road and Airship Fortress both came back in the same tour. So many people were leveling things up to level 8. Many people were getting ready, getting their finger gloves, getting their chair of where they grind in. I mean, we all have they were just hunkering down and getting ready to grind, especially the first few days of the tour. Now, and Carlos was kind of leading that charge. Mm-hmm. He had the stream and the 70K, but he slowly, I think, realized it was not an option. I think he took a break from that. And I had to grind for tokens and I grind for this. And eventually, in the last day of the tour, I got my golden run with my level 8 loadout. I got the 70K. I was surprised nobody else got 70K, really. I mean, I thought it would be scooped up on the first day of the tour. That was my opinion. I thought it would get taken the first day of the tour. But hey, I'm grateful to have it, and I welcome any of you to attempt that grind. And hey, I want to see more 70K. I mean, it's an awesome number.
Yeah, it's almost
that's
like the
kind
home
of it.
run club or something.
I beat Hyperino's world record actions too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
that's awesome. So the
So that's
records
about it,
are
yep.
so the records are 333. What is the actual record for action count?
Well, yeah. So Hyperino's it was 330, and then I beat that with 333. So that's the current 333.
There you go. Good luck. Let's see what kind of action count kings come
Yep.
from this here. And then we have two, I don't know if you experts, we have two great members to talk about some coconut mall that we have coming up. And then we also, for those of you who didn't know, ThisBeChris is actually a doctor. So we have a doctor tour coming up. So ThisBeChris, I mean, I don't want you to get too far into your career, but did you know from early on that you wanted to be a doctor? Or, tell us a little bit about what your passion for medicine. I know you have a cool tattoo that's also medicine related. Like, do you wake up just like dreaming about healthcare and medicine and being a doctor?
No, I don't think anyone in healthcare does. So, no, I actually went to college as I was like a religion major, but then kind of realized I didn't know what I wanted to do with that. And my girlfriend at the time she just brought up the point. She's like, you talk about medicine a lot. Why don't you be a doctor? Because I kind of had like a quarter life crisis. John Mayer was popular then, so that fits. So yeah, I just kind of was like, all right, yeah, that'd be a good job. So here we are. So
Very cool, man. We'll get more into your background as well. But before now that you kind of know the cast and kind of know who all is being represented, we're gonna have a fun conversation about all of these things we've already touched on a little bit. But we wanted to start with an icebreaker. I thought I'd kind of take it back to a high-level question that's probably been redefined over the last 2.5 years, which is, what is your definition of a filler tour? Because we kind of had this term that was kind of going around. I don't even know if we have filler tours anymore or whatnot. But Larry98, why don't you take our first stab at what is your definition of a filler tour?
Yeah, I think it's like when they usually they add like a new track with 3 variants, and if they add like a 2 RT version, then they're basically like, instead of creating a completely new track, they taking one which doesn't have an RT track yet and making that then. So yeah, and then if they also add, if they slow down like with new drivers or new carts or new gliders, cause right now it's like they're adding so many stuff in the game, and I'm a collector, so I have to get all of this stuff. So yeah, it seems like this tour, it was week 1 and week 2 pipe new stuff, and next to it seems like also that they're putting the Dr. Mario in week 1 and then Dr. Luigi in week 2, so that will also be, and then there will also be probably like stuff in the special pipe. So yeah, filler tours are not there right now at all.
Saving is especially tough for you, Larry. My condolences go to you, man. What about you, DKQuagmire? What's your definition of a filler tour?
My definition would probably be if a tour doesn't have a driver with like a top 5 skill, the coin box, the boomerang, and the lucky 7, giant banana, triple banana. Or as Larry just said, a tour where you don't get any new tracks. They're just reusing tracks within new RT variants. The only one we've had so far this year has been the Samurai tour. They just had new RT versions in that tour, but they did have new drivers with like Samurai Mario and Pink Ninja Shy Guy. So yeah, that was a pretty good tour.
It's hard to call that one or even think about it as a filler tour, but it does meet those specs, right? It does have just that RT variant, but with two new drivers with plus skills, it's really hard to, I know a lot of people were pulling in that pipe, and the different pipes that were there, and it was quite an extravagant pipe. I know I spent a little bit more than I wanted to that tour myself, so couldn't consider it necessarily a savings tour. But yeah, that's kind of where the debate is. Is it, is it about the tours, the tracks that are released, or is it about the drivers? Is it about the skills? What makes up a filler tour? What about you, Rakker? What would you recommend? What would your definition be of filler tour?
Well, I think the ultimate filler tour was probably DK versus Bowser, because there was literally nothing new. But yeah, that's been a while back now. I think more recently, I can remember the Vancouver 2 tour. I mean, a city tour, and I think it was being linked to that with a very bad skill. I had horrible coverage on this new city tracks, so it was pretty displeasing tour for me. I think all in all, if you don't have a really new track and not a top skill driver, that's more or less a filler tour. I mean, maybe we don't get that anymore. If you look at this whole year, we only had great tours, and maybe they changed something, especially with the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe pass and the bridge over. They don't want to give us boring tours anymore because they might lose players that way. But yeah, I guess if there's no new wheel track or just a recurring city tour, they could bring new items in the special pipe at least to make it not a complete filler tour. That's what I would say.
Solid point there. What about you, Crazi? What's your definition of a filler tour?
So I guess for me, it would be both if it doesn't have a new track and if it has a low amount of new items. So I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily, because I think so we all know that this year, I mean, there's not been many filler tours. I think that the reason they're doing that, I mean, it's either for the Mario Kart 8 booster pass or because filler tours don't make them as much money. I mean, who's pulling on like a banner with all old stuff and no new track to cover? I mean, I think but it also messes up the game balance a little bit because they're introducing many new items so fast. I feel like they're sacrificing their game balance a little bit by introducing all these jam-packed tours with new items, because it makes them more money and it excites many players. I mean, when you see a tour with like all these new drivers, a giant banana, like the Samurai tour, you had like all these new items. It was fun, but then when you step back and look, you're like, whoa, what are they doing to their game? All these pipes, all these new things. I mean, so I don't think filler tours are bad, but Nintendo, I think, does think they're bad now. So I don't think we're going to get many more of them, really. So
okay.
For me, it's just no new track and low amount of new items.
You guys are already giving me a lot of good follow-up questions. I'm already thinking, about some of your the comments about having all these new items with these new tracks, or is the game imbalance going to be thrown out of whack? I'm sure we'll probably get to it in the next hour and 45 minutes. But I want to hear ThisBeChris. What's your definition of a filler tour?
Sorry. Really agree with Rakker and Crazi. Don't have too much to add to what they said. I just think that obviously some point within the last 6 months, somebody at DNA's heard one of these Kart talks with us talking about filler tours and took it very personally, because they have just been like bombarding us, but to what Crazi said, as long as it's not like the I forget what you call like the very end of a fireworks show, where it just goes like absolutely like bonkers, because I feel like that's kind of what Mario Kart Tour has been doing. So as long as they've got a plan that where all these amazing tours doesn't impact the longevity of the game, then I mean it's awesome. But you're right, it does kind of change the approach and the meta, because it's just so much.
Great points there. And I mean, do you guys think that there is a plan to this, or do you think everything is, as Chris is saying, getting to a crescendo, and it's going to all of a sudden just burst, and all of a sudden the game just goes on some kind of cruise control from here? Or do you think they're going to be able to sustain this?
I wasn't trying to imply that I thought that was the case, but I think we kind of already saw, I think with their I can't remember what tour it was. It was that last celebration that was like a 2-tour celebration, and there wasn't really like a lot to. There was like one challenge card that like bridged the two tours. It, so it wasn't like that crazy. But I think they're trying to just come up with ways to again just avoid something where there's no new awesome track, there's no driver or pipes that people don't want to pull on. So I think that'll be a lot more rare going forward, which is good. I'm sure they've got a game plan. There's too much money involved for them not to have a good game plan. So
yeah, they just want people pulling every single tour. I mean, that's the bottom line. They want people either paying money or being in that tight situation or feeling they get lucky and they keep pulling and then they don't get lucky. They have to open the wallet. I mean, it makes sense.
Do you think that do you think what they're giving us is sustainable? What do you think about DKQuagmire?
I think they're being pretty generous actually with all the rewards they've been giving us. I mean, I think it was was it this tour that they started the new tour gifts? We get one more extra high-end driver ticket this tour, so that's pretty generous. And we're getting a login bonus. You might have seen in the news.
Gold.
Golden Week, or whatever it is. Yeah. So that'll be good.
Yeah.
More coins for more tickets, maybe in the the daily selects. Although I'm not getting much at the moment.
Yeah. I don't think many of us are. I don't know, Larry. Are you? I know you're being a pipe as a premium pipe puller. Are you starting to max things out? I mean, like, are you starting to get daily selects, or are you still kind of running up into what we're all experiencing?
I'm slowly maxing out. Yeah, I just finished the common gliders now, and the common drivers need like 70 tickets, and the common carts need like 60 tickets. But the supers are still like over 200, 300 tickets away from being even close to max out. Yeah, but after maxing out the common glider, I got the next day. I got my first high-end ticket in the first 6 spots. Like and I got 2 times this tour, and I think in total 4 times in 7, 8, or 9, like 1 ticket.
Wow! Watch out, Kareem.
So,
Larry 98's coming for you.
I'm catching up. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, let's get started into the Amsterdam tour. And we kind of already talking about these great tours. It's hard to even consider this a filler tour because we have this great skill of boomerang with the Rosalina alt. We also have so many other new items too. I think the special pipe is a little lackluster, but overall we have, it seems like everything that you'd possibly want. But this might be the most filler of tours this year because they've been going gangbusters. What are your thoughts about having the first city tour since Singapore? Was it relaxing? Was it what we're talking about, this filler / saving tour, or was it just as hectic as normal tours? And maybe even I don't know for you guys, but I've been grinding a lot of player level. For me, it's been actually a little bit more hectic. How has it been for you guys? What are your thoughts on our first city tour since Singapore?
I guess I'll go first.
Sure.
I've been grinding player level like mad. I'm already at level 221.
Ooh, okay. Watch out, Larry.
I'm doing a tracker of all the tracks in the tour. I've completely filled out every track course EXP for every tour since Me Tour. And going into this tour at the moment, it's been pretty rough actually for me. Week 1, I didn't have a very good loadout for ranked, and unfortunately I came 4th place. Oh man! So I didn't rank up.
Sorry to hear that. Do you feel pretty good though about week 2?
I'm actually fully loaded on week 2. I've got the Vacation Peach level 7. I can go with either Gold Yoshi at level 6 or Kangaroo Yoshi at level 7. So I'm pretty good on Sunset Wilds. And I got Charging Chuck at level 6 on the Amsterdam T.
You are set then. That Dragonfly is yours.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get it this week.
Awesome. What do you think about Amsterdam in general? Are you enjoying the track? Are you enjoying the culture, the tulips everywhere?
I'm enjoying the tour. I'm not really keen on the music, honestly. It's not the worst. It's not like London Loop. I think everyone hates that one.
Yeah, I like
So
it.
you
I
hate
mean,
it
I also
too.
like Amsterdam though.
Ooh.
It's about mid-tier. Sorry, guys.
No, you're. I mean, if you're from the UK, so if you don't like it, we won't have to hold back. We won't have to try to not slam your own home music there. But yeah, I don't think anyone's really a big fan of the London Loop. So the music though, this one's not great either, is what you're saying.
It's okay. It's not the worst, but it's not the best.
Who likes the music? Put your hand up.
Hey, I like it.
Great. Yeah. Okay. What do you guys like so much about the music?
I mean, I think it's really refreshing and interesting to me. I mean, it's very different from the rest of the cities. The vocals at the start are a little bit off-putting, but I actually like the main melody, the accordion, or whatever they're using. I like it. Sounds good. It's like I've actually gotten used to it, but I mean, I'm enjoying the track more because of the music. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right, Chris. What about you, man? Same thing.
Yeah, no, I enjoy it. I like it anytime there's new music. I usually have the volume set pretty low. I mean, I'm not one of those people that listens to like other like outside music during the game. So, yeah, so anything new is, kind of cool for me because it's such a background sort of ambient thing anyways. So, yeah, I've enjoyed this tour quite a lot. Have good loadouts. Could probably end up. I think if I did 100%, I'd be right at the like right in that top 150ish 200 cutoff. So I'll probably land somewhere in like the top 400 or 500.
Wow.
So
Okay. Well, I remember, if you don't mind, I mean, I know earlier in the week you were feeling a little down about the tour. Did things turn up? Was there anything that kind of gave you a little bit of energy?
it was just one of those times where everything was sort of just being really challenging in the game. So I was just kind of in a low point, but Jeeves and John Boyd, people kind of reached out on Discord, gave me some nice encouraging words. And then just finally started having a little more time to play the game the last few days and had some pretty good runs. So, it's just kind of, I think, the natural ebb and flow, and don't need to, if things aren't going your way, it's if you don't get as high of place and ranked as you wanted, it's just not that big of a deal. I think it was Frenzy Fangirl like a couple weeks ago said something to the effect of like, no one cares, but that's a good thing. Like, it's fine. Like, no one's gonna judge you, So I was just being really hard on myself, but it's gotta have fun, number one. And if you're not, just pump the brakes a little. So I did a handful of days where I just kind of did the today's challenge pipe, a race or two, and that was it, just for a hand. And that's just kind of what I needed.
Yeah.
But there's one difference with the previous tours, and since the introduction of the Mies, is that you don't have to get first in either week to get the exclusive suit. I hope that stays this way, because for Dolphins, and I can imagine for Gold Pass, especially for Gold Pass, it's quite frustrating because sometimes you're paired with huge whales, and it's virtually impossible to get first that week, and then you have to pour in a lot of tickets if you want that exclusive Mies suit into the other week, whereas you may even need to invest in stuff you don't really want to invest in. So we don't have that this tour. So you opened up the question with, is it a somewhat more relaxing tour? I guess for that reason, it definitely is. I'm maybe a little bit biased, but saying it is a filler tour, definitely not, because we got a completely new track. It's not like Sydney 2 or Vancouver 2, where lame ass new route is all you get. Now you get a completely new scenery, and new driver. So I would say it's a great tour, but I'm maybe a little bit biased.
You might be a little biased, but no, I think it's a good point. We kind of had like during I don't know if it's because of the celebration, But having that me suit for only the number one position makes it just that more devastating if you don't get number one. You know, before it's like, yeah, just 20 rubies. What's the difference between 1 and 2? Not a big deal. I can just, you know, save and focus on next tour. But like having to get that me suit, man, especially the way the me suits seem to be kind of compounding, you feel like you needed to go for it. So I think it might be having to be tied to the celebration, because we were describing a while ago, like, hey, celebrations, what's so celebrating about it? Like, other than giving us a couple more free stuff, we were kind of getting burnt out with celebrating something like every other month. So this was, I felt like, kind of maybe one way that they were saying, well, all right, we'll take your feedback. Here's one thing you can celebrate. You can get a me suit. And I think that, drivers are kind of held to a higher value than, a Kart, or even if they're new. I really like that they've given us more ranked awards. It allows us to be able to focus on ranked, even though I'm not as focused on. I'm more focused on all cup ranking. But like it does bring some fun, some joy to ranked. I'll ask you, Rakker. I know you're going for all cup ranking. How does ranked fit into your priority list, and how you get through all the tracks you're looking to try to get to in these 2 weeks?
Well, normally rank is my only focus because I'm a small dolphin, so I don't have always great loadouts. I keep a stash of tickets just in case. So I cannot really invest into ACR every tour or every other tour, because that will deplete my stash of tickets, which I may need in ranked. There's 2 things. One, you want to get that me suit, and 2, you want to get to tier 80 as soon as possible. Right now, I want to get top 100, but not by spending every ticket I have. So I spent 6. I moved Rosalina Voldendam to 6 double cap, and the flower card to 6 double cap. And I needed 1 ticket for strawberry donut to move it from 5 double to 6 double, and that's everything I spent. So that's quite limited. And well, yeah, Rosalina Voldendam and Flower Guard will probably get some nice buffs. Next tour is luckily no city tour, so it's all good if it stays this way, and I probably can get there with just these tickets spent. I gotta say, in the beginning, it's very, very smooth. It's very nice to do. It's change of pace, especially if you're someone who only goes for ranked normally, and maybe just get that top 1000 badge, but you only need, I don't know, 75% of the predicted score. So that's not really an effort. But now going for 90 plus or maybe 95 plus is my soft target for every track. It's quite nice, especially in the beginning, because you can play your favorite tracks that you love. You know the lines, and you hit your scores quite quickly. But then again, after 1 week or so, you end up with tracks you don't like so much, and it becomes a little bit rougher. Especially this tour, because with Rosalina Voldendam, I think I calculated I need to boombox 15 or 16 tracks.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. And if they're like 2 or 3 or even more second tier coin box characters, it's perfectly fine, because you will get that run, especially if it's a track where it's easy to keep combos, so the T or RT track, it's no problem at all. It's quite casual, and it's a nice break from coin boxing. But if there's no second tier coin boxer, you finally have that lobby, and I also had this one time. I was playing for an hour, didn't get my run, and then the game crashed. And you lose your lobby. That's just so harsh. And also, I mean, you come across all kinds of crazy shit. Also, that you get a great boombox in the very first item set, and then the rest of the lab complete trash. Absolutely nothing at all. And you're looking at your spreadsheet. You're like, okay, this was 80% of the predicted score, and you know that's not enough. So you have to go back into it again, and that's kind of rough. So I'm stuck with a couple of not so nice tracks, like just the circuits. I think I need to do all 3, and the Amsterdam drifts, where I use Voldendam. But the first item set is really bad for boomboxing, so you have to skip that set basically, and it takes a while, and it's not the best.
So curious, ballpark, How many boomboxes do you think you got this tour so far?
Well, quite a lot of runs I kept. Well, probably 12 to something around 12, but so many restarts, probably 50 to 60 or something.
Wow. That's it takes it's a unique tour to be going for a top 100. I'll tell you that, because there's so many boomboxing tracks. But hey, it's your home tour. You got to do it.
Yeah, I think one track. I think it was Amsterdam Drift RT. I think the first lap I had like 140 actions or something, because I had a double boombox, or a boombox and a mini boombox. But and the second lap nothing. So I ended up with 210 actions, which is still good, but not insane.
Good. Yeah. Who is burnt out with boomerang? Do we have anyone else that's just don't?
I am. I'm fed up. I can't deal with boomerangs anymore.
I'm with you, man. Tell me. So you're just going to have you changed your strategy around boomerang drivers? Because that's kind of one of the questions we have here. Is what do you think about the new items, specifically having another top skill, specifically boomerang? You can't pull for everything. You can't level everything up. So do you kind of change your strategy to skip boomerang, or kind of how's your approach now that you're kind of already fed up?
Well, you can't exactly skip the boomerang because it's like one of the best skills in the game. However, the problem is last tour we had Gold Yoshi, and of course a lot of players pulled for him, and so they might not have enough rubies going into this tour. So having two good drivers back to back, that's not going to be very good for like the players who don't spend much, like the free to play gold pass only, or even the small dolphins.
That's a really good point.
I mean, so I love boomerang. I love boombox, but this is the first boomerang I've actually skipped. I don't have the rubies. I mean, I can't keep up. I pulled for Samurai. He's not getting any buffs, unfortunately. He's all coin box tracks. I pulled for Gold Yoshi. I mean, I got him, and I'm not buying packs often at all. I can't keep up. It sucks because I love the skill. I actually like boomboxing, kind of. I mean, I don't like it that much, but I like the thrill, and I've been going at it for a while. So, but this is the first one I've skipped. You can't keep up with all of them now, unless you buy all these packs. It's a decision you have to make.
It is. Anyone else feel that right there on the ties of having to make that decision?
Yeah,
maybe a question. Maybe a question for Crazi. Did you regret for pulling for Samurai now?
So I regret that his value is bad, but he's one of my favorite looking drivers of the year. So I feel like that kind of justifies it. I mean, he looks sick. The Samurai, like in the Kart too, the Warrior Wagon, I love the look. But for value, yes, if I was just thinking value, yes, definitely regret it. So far, he's still new. We'll see.
Well, I can agree with people saying, well, it's maybe a bit much regarding the top skills that we get. But on the other hand, the way it used to be was also not great, because we only got a top skill every, 5, 6, 7 tours or so. And you knew when a top skill came, you had to take it immediately to 6-2 or something. Or, I mean, that was the safe move. Nothing wrong with that. And you could also say, well, they fixed that. I mean, there's no strategy behind that. If you know you can safely take it to already 6 straight from the pipe. So I don't mind. You just have to look at your own account. For instance, Gold Yoshi was quite bad for me. Only I think the Yoshi Circuit track would add some value, but that was not in ranked. So why would I invest now? I mean, I got him in the 3 temples or something, and he will be at level 1 for quite a while probably. But that's okay. Yeah.
I mean, fun fact, I actually have Meowser. I pulled for him, and I still haven't level 1. I mean, I've invested in it's bold. Many people have taken into 7. I've invested in other things that have kept my account floating. Like I've invested in Vacation Luigi off the bat. What are some other ones? I've invested in a couple of the Mii suits. I've invested in the Yoshi.
What Mii suits did you?
I think the bronze, and I'm working on the silver. I think I'll get that up. And then I've invested in Pink Shy Guy Ninja. I took him to 6. I love him.
Yeah, he's awesome.
And yeah, I have a lot of the boomerang drivers leveled up, but same thing with Gold Yoshi. I pulled him. He's still at level 1. I don't know when I'll be able to take him up. I don't have the tickets. He doesn't have the tracks really. I mean, for me at least. So I really feel like as a like a gold pass only or a whale, you really should pick and choose the plus skills you like and want. You can't having the mindset you need to invest and pull for everyone. I mean, if you're a collector, that's awesome. If you want to pull for everything, level up everything, that's awesome. But if you don't have the means to do that, don't stress about it. Just pick the ones you like, pick the ones that fit into your inventory with their tracks, and you'll exceed.
Yeah,
Really well said. You were going to agree, Chris?
Yeah, really well said. I kind of got burned by Samurai Mario too. I think he was number like 97 or 98 in that pipe, and I don't think I've ever used anything from it. So I actually I did a YOLO or two on Rosalina, however you say it, and then reset the pipe so that I wouldn't be tempted to go in for her. But then I decided I wanted the cart, so I got it within like the first 40. And I mean, I'm a whale in spending, but not in skill. That's kind of how I describe myself. So if I'm that deep in any pipe, usually I'll just finish it off. But I again reset it and said, no, I'm not getting another, just because it's, in the past I always had the mindset, and I've said on Kart Talk, if it's a plus skill high end, you get it as a whale, I guess. And this is the first one I'm ever leaving behind. So there's just, but like Crazi said, when there's so much plus skill, it changes the game, even potentially for whales, because there's the more plus skills you have, that they're naturally going to have overlap, and you're probably only going to need to have one every couple of tours. If there was a plus skill every single tour, and you got like every third or fourth one, you're probably going to be okay for coverage, just in terms of the pattern of buffs that we normally see. So
yeah, for sure. And I think so. I mean, whales they can afford to pull for every plus skill driver, but I still think they should have the same approach, and they can't even afford to invest in all these plus skill drivers. We're getting 1, 2 at this point every tour. I mean, we don't even know if this. I'll be getting ahead of myself with these new pills of vitamin skills. I mean, what if those like suck up coins, and that's another plus skill? We're getting like bombarded with these plus skills. Not even whales can afford to invest in all of them. They can't. I mean, there's too many overlap. There's too much overlap, anyways, to make it justifiable.
Right.
Yeah, let me. You guys are making amazing points. I want to make sure that I carve out some time to hear from the collector, Larry 98. You have to pull all these things, right? But you can't take all of them up. What's your strategy? How are you picking which ones you're going to invest in and which ones you're going to leave behind?
Yeah, so Coinbox, definitely. I invest into them, and I also invested heavily in Lucky 7 before level 8 was coming, because my goal was to take all the plus skill drivers to 6 or 7 in the game. But yeah, then level 8 comes, so now I have I have the sheet right now open. I have 9 Lucky 7 drivers at 7, and most of them I would probably never really use. And I think there are 2 or 3 tracks where there are now 4 Lucky 7 drivers overlapping with each other, like Halloween Mario, and then the other Daisy Holiday chair, and and I'm not I only have Ninja Shiga at 7 and Kangaroo Yoshi also at 7. Otherwise, I'm not investing into Boomerang because I'm too lazy and too bad to grind for Boombox. So yeah, I never really went for Boombox. So yeah, if I grind with them, then I just grind for coin fancies, or I just grind on the other tracks more and spinning because of my loader. So rank up.
It's honestly really hard to argue with that strategy. It's I'm going to get the stuff that's going to I'm going to get in, get out, get my run. And if I'm going to have to, if I'm going to invest in something that's going to require me to put a lot of time into the game, I'm just going to avoid it and just say, hey, those tracks I'm just not going to do quite as well. I admire that. Being someone who has very little time, I admire that. DKQuagmire, how do you kind of approach the same thing, but on the other end of the spectrum? I know you do some collecting too, though. Tell us a little bit about how you're approaching all these back to back top skills.
Oh, right. I haven't. I only really invest if it's a driver for ranked, and while I do try to invest into like drivers with top skills, it's been especially difficult since level 8, since I want to put all of my attention into the coin box first. And I know since the Mito, I've noticed Luigi Vacation has had a lot of buffs. However, on my account, he's still level 1, and there's not really an opportunity for me to put tickets on him at the moment. So I can't really go for boombox with him, and I have to use other drivers. And in fact, last tour, in the Yoshi tour, I was using Penguin Toadette on Yoshi Valley T, and that helped me win ranked because I got a double coin frenzy with her, which was all right.
Yeah, that's great, man. Yeah, you know, it's a tough situation. You know, I think last year, you know, prior to level 8, it was very, very easy. I could just save up my tickets, pull the top skill character, take it immediately to level 7. You know, I was pretty systematic about it. If it was boomerang or if it was lucky 7, I would just double uncap it right off the bat. If it was a coin box, I'd try to triple uncap it, but immediately to 7 every skill. And I would be stashing up these driver tickets like they were pennies, just sitting on the, you know, just sitting around, you know, on the ground. But then level 8 hit, and my shop dried up and everything stopped. And then they had this perfect storm of like all these back to back drivers. And now I'm just like, I'm sitting here, you know, with like all these cars in the garage, and I'm like, and then there's the car up that pulled into the driveway, this gold me suit coming in. I'm like, I just don't, I'm sitting back and I don't know how to invest. And so I commend Rakker, you're going for top 100. You actually, you know, you have a reason to do something. I'm like, I just see this me suit and I'm just like, I just shut down. Like, I'm like, I don't know what to invest in. So I'm just going to sit here and not invest in anything and just wait for this gold me suit. So my Yoshi's still at 1. That's the first time I haven't taken my coin boxer to immediately to something in so long. And so, you know, my Samurai's at 1. My Voldendam, I actually pulled her twice, so she's at 2. But it's the same point. It's like I don't know what to do, and that's why I appreciate hearing all your opinions. I can't say that you guys have helped me make a decision, but it's tough. So on the flip side of things, Firestorm asked a question. You know, with this saturation of plus skill drivers, it seems that predicting the coverage rock stars. Like I remember last year, we kind of had so many coin box drivers, and then you had some of the free to play who couldn't, or, you know, maybe gold pass only, who couldn't invest in those coin boxers, were kind of taking a counter strategy to kind of really invest in Black Birdo as just an example. But it's really hard to predict that now. Cat Rosalina is a perfect example of a current driver that did not meet expectations. What would be your suggestion for players who can't pull on every plus skill driver?
I think Crazi kind of hit on that really, really well, you know, earlier, that you just kind of have to just be a little more selective. I think it comes down to just however you enjoy the game. You know, do you enjoy the game most by investing in the meta? You know, do you enjoy the game most by investing in a certain set of characters, whether it's something like, you know, like Draco does or KG does? You know, there's so many different ways to enjoy the game, and go with whatever brings you the most happiness. And honestly, no one else cares how you play the game, and that's okay. Like, that's good, that's healthy. You know, you don't have to live up to anyone else's expectations on you for this game. So
Yeah.
You know, however you get the most joy, invest in it that way. You know, does it stink to take somebody to level 6 or 7, double uncap, and then they don't get good buffs, and you know, you don't see their tracks for a while? Sure, that's going to happen from time to time, even to the most, you know, meta, you know, in tuned people, like with, you know, Mario, with the Samurai Mario, you know, that's just gonna happen. And I think trying to avoid those scenarios, it's gonna leave you in a spot where you're not able to invest in too much without you know, fear of wasting resources. So again,
I mean, even when their track comes up, like, that's very gratifying when you have this character. I mean, it sucks when they don't show up for a while, but when they do, like, it's awesome. You win that week, you like have fun, you like use the character you like, and that's excellent. Yep.
Yeah, good point. I did have a little rant. I'll try. I kind of make a. I'll put it out here, and because I kind of broke it down. I think it was N2CJ and asked the question about is Daisy Farmer going to be worth pulling on? And I just said, and asked, he called me out specifically. So when someone calls me out on my channel, I gotta respond. So I kind of took a couple different points on this. One is you have to ask yourself, first of all, what would this do to your account? Is this something that you are willing to take to a high level? And then two, what's your ability to kind of take on that risk? And I think we had this Black Birdo, we had these unique situations, but like this year is completely unlike last year. We have so many new tracks, and then on top of it, new drivers. It's like and we're kind of mentioning this a little bit here and on other episodes too. The overlap is unavoidable. You're going to have overlap with top skills. You can't get away with a penguin toad that just happens to being ranked every week with no other top skill driver. Like, we're gonna have top skill drivers. That's just the way it is. As these new assumed tracks are just reoccurring, it's gonna be nearly impossible to avoid some of those. And I get into other parts of that rant as well. Just like those drivers who are trying to find this unicorn of this Black Birdo, the odds are so low. There might only be one per year. So if you think about that, that might only be 4% of the drivers. If you think about a new driver coming out every single tour. So I would my personal recommendation is don't try to get jackpot off of double snake eyes. Like just avoid it. Kind of just pull the drivers, as Chris was saying, pull the drivers that you really like. It might be, if they're plus skill, that's going to really help you out. But ultimately, I mean, you can't really be trying to predict these. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. It's so difficult. So my recommendation would be, don't think too hard about it. If it doesn't have a top skill, you're going to have to really love that character to want to pull it and invest in it. And Edito asked a similar question as well. But I think we kind of want to wrap up the Amsterdam tour. We had a really good conversation, but there's a lot of other good questions specifically around the Doctor Tour, Coconut Mall, etc. But anyone else want to add anything more about Amsterdam? Are we all Amsterdammed out? I know we still have another 5 or 6 days. People still enjoying the tour?
Yeah, I'm still enjoying the tour at the moment. Though I'm not going for ACR, I'm just doing the token grinding at the moment. But it's a long way off. I've only just got my 20th token pipe, so I've still got another 11 to go.
Yeah, that's actually a good question. Maybe we'll toss that in here. Secramac asks, given that the 9,000 token green pipe seems to be a regular thing now, would you consider this a nerf to coin boxers, since it's much harder to grind away tokens when they're in your coin box from the getting coins on the course? Now, I know for now it's you got to hit somebody to get coins, but do you think if they continue this token thing, is that considered a nerf to these coin box drivers?
Absolutely,
No, not at all.
I think so.
No, really? Oh, that's interesting.
Oh,
Yeah.
we got a debate going on. Put on your gloves. Let's go. Who wants to start?
So, yeah, go ahead.
For Mario Kart Tour debates, though, did you, instead of boxing gloves, did you have to wear the those
finger
gloves
gloves,
from
right?
like Amazon?
Yeah.
Is that what we fight with?
Yeah, I broke a
Sorry,
hole
David.
in one from the 70K. I mean, the 70K attempts.
All right, Crazy. You start us off then, man.
Yeah, let's do it. So I think so with Coinbox. So these tokens, definitely something happened, something changed. Last year I was watching Carlos's footage. There's way more tokens in the boxes now, and then it is confirmed by the miners that the tokens do override the red coins. And some tracks the spread can be favorable, but most cases it's gonna mess up your coin box. These tokens will spread farther. There'll be less red coins. They are bigger, but not by much. And that tour when I was working on 3DS Rainbow Road, the tokens happened to be in the boxes. So in addition to the 25 plus hours that I spent on that one track, I had to spend another like 10 hours grinding away the tokens. And I was impatient, so I did some runs on Rainbow Road with the tokens. And even like with triple frenzy runs, I could not get good action counts. These tokens were spraying every which way, less red coins. I've had boxes with like one red coin. To me, it's a direct nerf whenever the tokens are in the boxes.
All right, we've heard from the plaintiff, the defendant. May you stand up to the...
Well, I have to agree on some level. As long as you have the green tokens and you haven't completed your token shop, it's a problem, and you will probably score less. And on 200 AC tracks, you probably score somewhere between 5 and 10 AC less. Maybe even worse if you're unlucky, because there are so many green coins coming out, and those green coins are not red coins, so it's gonna impact your score in a bad way. But on the other hand, the first time this happened, we got these 9,000 tokens, token shops you needed to clear. I think there were 3 ranked tracks with Coinbox. And I was like, well, I'm not getting great scores, at least weaker scores than I used to do on these tracks. I think one of the tracks was Maple Treeway, and I was like, why am I not close to the targeted AC? And then I just spent 2 days grinding out the token shop. And I think probably three hours a day. So a total of 6 hours on the best track in the tour, where you can most easily get tokens from Coinbox. And after 6 hours, you were done, and there were no more greens coming
just
out
after 6 hours.
Well, maybe not everybody has that amount of time, but I think most people that watch this are pretty fanatic about the game. Probably, maybe not every tour, but you spend quite some time on the game. So if you really are competitive and you're going for ACR or you're going for ranked, that's something you can do, and it's not that hard. Especially for week 2 ranked, you're probably done with the token shop by then. So yes, it is a nerve while they're available once you haven't cleared out the token shop, but you can do that. It becomes a much bigger problem in a versus tour. But then again, it's the same. It's the same for everybody. But if you happen to be on the bad side, you choose one of the teams. You have to use a driver on a ranked track, and maybe your competitors chose the other team and don't have to use that Coinbox driver on that track. Then you're definitely at a disadvantage. So I have to agree that it is a nerve while they're there, but you can do something about it.
Yeah.
Interesting. So what you're saying is, yes, that's in the game of checkers, that's a nerf. But in the game of chess, you can actually use it to your advantage. If you can actually outplay your competition by being more committed to the game, by spending those 6 hours to grind the tokens. Is that a good summary of what you're saying?
Yeah, definitely. I think most of my week 1 ranked opponents probably did not clear their token shop, and I did. So it was easier for me to get great scores on these Coinbox tracks.
Yep, I agree with that.
Hey, anyone else disagree? Or any other comments there about the tokens specific around Coinbox? If not, I have a question that I put out there. Have you pulled all the token pipes each tour, or were there ever a tour where you left some of those pipes? And then at what point in time do you say, you know what, I'm gonna have to leave like 3 or 4 of these pulls out there, and I'm gonna have to try to get some of these other items? And then I'm thinking about like rubies and thinking about like level tickets, which are both very important resources right now. At what point in time do you start getting the other things in your shop and just say, you know what, I can't get all these pipes? Where do you draw the line?
Well, so the first tour that came out, which was the Samurai tour, I went for ACR. I went for my first top 100. I did not have the time, and they were in the hits, so they were not in the coin boxes. So I did not have the time to clear the token shop. I left I think 5, maybe the last 500 pipes. The next tour, the Yoshi tour with the 3DS member road, I did grind them all because they were in the boxes and because I was going for a record. So, and then this tour, I still have another 9. I don't think I'm gonna finish them. I'm just burnt out. I think it's not really feasible for a lot of players to finish. I think so. I think they were not intended to be finished, and because the first 21 pipes, you don't even know how many, unless you looked at the news. It doesn't show you how many are left. They only put the cap. Somebody in one of the Discord servers said this, but I fully agree. And they only set a limit to 31 to stop those crazy people that just play that never haven't. They always have enough time, just getting infinite resources. It's to stop those few players. But for the most part, I think it's just meant to be something that's always there, and it's not really meant to be cleared, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, we are an extreme. Like, everyone
Yeah.
here, everyone probably listening, we're an extreme bunch. There's no doubt about
Oh,
that.
for sure.
Yeah, no, I'd probably say that probably 95% of people playing the game are not getting all the tokens, and that's kind of where I'm asking the question is, you know, I know myself, I'm pretty lazy / also busy, so I have to draw that line, and I think I'm already like, right when I get to like, once I see 500, I might pull like the 1/500 pipe, and then honestly, I'm kind of already moving on to like trying to pull the other stuff because I'm thinking like,
Yeah.
all right, hey, I could pull this, and it could be like, you know, a normal level ticket or however many come in that. Or I could just buy this level ticket and then these rubies and then this star and then this coin and then I can get this. Like I can get so much for that value. Sometimes I'm just like, instead of pulling, I'm just going to get this value and just call it a day. I don't know.
Yep.
Let me ask maybe the resident the person who's mentioned that they're lazy. Larry, where are you drawing this line on these token pipes?
No, I'm getting all the token pipes now, always, cause I don't want to miss them. So it's like when there's a new item, I have to get it. So if there's a chance to get something, then I want to get it. And yeah, it would make sense that they didn't meant that we pull them all, cause at the end it's like there were like last two, I think I didn't got any high-end thing from the pipe. And this two, I think 2 out of the, I think I still need like 6,000 tokens, so there's still a lot to grind. And then like if you're paying 500 tokens and then you get like 3 base point glider tickets back, which are, those are the ones which I don't need. I have like 198 glider base point tickets.
Or the
like,
normal uncapped tickets. Those are the worst. The normal glider
Yeah,
uncapped tickets,
yeah.
especially.
I'm
Yeah.
completely
'cause,
maxed out on the normal gliders.
yeah. Those, a lot of people are maxed out there, so yeah, they are, and they would probably never add new common gliders. Yeah.
Well, and I know you specifically do a lot of level grinding, right? You've grinded every I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you've grinded every single track to its full
I
potential.
grinded every track since the Sunset Tour, which was November 2020, maybe.
Yeah,
20, I would say, yeah. And
So
then
you're at level what right now?
I'm at level, let's say I would end at 241 because I still have 3 tracks left to grind, yeah. But 241, yeah. And then
That's very
I think
impressive,
I need 18 tracks. I need like the New York minute 1, 2, 3. And then I need a few city tracks which never, like all the tracks I need are just not in the game since over 1.5 years. So like I could be done, but the game doesn't want that.
Well, you know what's funny is I get this question quite a lot. I'd probably say once a month I get this comment in the rundown. It's usually a suggestion from somebody saying, you know, maybe we should treat, you know, Ninja Hideaway or Merry Mountain like a city track, and it comes up, you know, in the community. And you know, my argument is like, you know, New York Minute, like never seen it. Like you're not gonna see it. Like it's one of those things where like we just have to accept it's not coming back. It's not gonna be in ranked. We don't have to invest in it. Don't think about it. Like literally don't think about it. Whereas Ninja Hideaway, we can guarantee, or you know, Merry Mountain is the same example where it comes back. You know, it's gonna be like that city. You know, that there's gonna be a tour where that is going to be featured, and not only that, but there's probably gonna be 2 of the variants being in ranked. So like you can't ignore, you know, Ninja Hideaway and Merry Mountain the same way you do New York Minute 1. You know, so in my opinion, that's kind of how I'm taking it. Now, could it be treated differently? Yeah, maybe. But we also see Dino Jungle. We see these other tracks, you know, Shy Guy Bazaar not come back. And so, you know, should you treat them like city? No. I think it's... So you bring up a really good point. There are so many city tracks we haven't seen yet. And I'm sure you're dying. Like, you'd probably love for there to be New York Minute 1 and 2 come back. You'd probably... That's probably what you're, you know, now that we have Coconut Mall, it's probably the #1 thing you're looking forward to, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So let's get into that. Let's get into next tour. This morning, as of this recording, we saw a tour preview for next tour, which is the Doctor Tour. So we have DKQuagmire with us today, and then we have Coconut Mall, which is a track that I think really, I think I'm not as familiar with it, but I think in the community, whenever when we have this question about which retro track would you like to have back, Coconut Mall constantly came up. So I'll ask DKQuagmire and Larry, Coconut Mall, right? What makes this such a favorite track for so many players? Either one of you guys can answer.
Well, I think it's an original idea. Like, you don't really get a Mario Kart track before Mario Kart Wii. It goes through like a building. We had Luigi's Mansion on Mario Kart DS, but that was only a small portion of it. But for Coconut Mall, you're playing through most of like an actual like a shopping center, and you're going up all the escalators, and you get to like jump off a waterfall. No, it was a fountain, sorry. And yeah, there's lots of different areas. Like there's like a little area halfway round, which is like a little break area with like lots of little umbrellas for like if you're at a shopping center, you might want to sit down and take a break there. And I really like that idea. And then you've got the split paths.
Yeah. It looks like a cool track. And now I will say most of my experience watching it is it's been people riding bikes through it. So I always kind of had that association for whatever reason. I was like scared. I'm like, oh, hopefully they don't bring bikes along with this mall. But yeah, I guess you can go up escalators. And Larry, I know you've broken them down version by version. What's your thoughts on Coconut Mall? Based on what you've seen, do you feel like they'll hit the mark, or do you think they'll miss?
Yeah, I'm happy that Coconut Mall returns, but I'm also kind of disappointed, especially because this is now using the Mario Kart 8 Tour style, and I think they removed some of the things and made like if you're driving in the mall, then I think the graphics, they are too bright, and some of but I mean, this is a tour thing that the graphics are also very simple. And then they also changed a few things, like for example, at the end there are now in Mario Kart 8 there are Shy Guys, but they are standing in the car. And in Mario Kart Wii there were like 3 cars always driving backwards and forwards. And in Mario Kart 7 I don't know why they changed.
They drove back and forth, yeah.
Yeah, but the strange thing is like in the tour version, as what I saw and what others already saw, is that the cars are different. Like in the normal version, they're actually driving. Like if you look at the trailer, they are driving, and in the reverse version, there are the Shy Guy cars from Mario Kart 8. So it's strange why they changed that. Why they made like the worst cars in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and not
And actually on the T version, so this was pointed out by someone. So instead of going near the parking lot, there's red ramps that take you on the beach. So you go over the beach, there's logs with jump boosts, and then you go back on the entrance. So it's a small detail. It's when the Mario and Luigi, when they're gliding out of the mall, you can see it on the corner. So it's going to be pretty good.
Ooh.
Yeah, like
the shot, I think it's the shot with the 2 new gliders, right? The shot with the 2 new gliders where you can see it.
Yeah.
You can see it. You can kind of see like the jump boost, like the red like pieces of track. They kind of take you off the parking lot, and instead they go left on the beach. And there's like little jumps there on the beach, and then you go on the beach, and then you go back on the road. So hey, look out for it. It's really cool.
What were we gonna say, DK?
Oh, I was just saying that's the thing about going on the beach. It looked like it was on the T version of the track because it's got the extended red road area with the metal framework. So
you don't think we'll go out there in the other versions?
No.
I'm not sure. Maybe they'll do something for the R version.
Yeah.
I've seen a video on YouTube of one of these Mario Kart Wii custom tracks, and someone put in the red metal grate things for the R, doing an R version of Mario Kart Wii. Say Coconut Mall, that's it. And they did a pretty good job with that, and they might do it again for this Mario Kart Tour version. or they might not let us go up to the upper route at the end there.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they make us go back up into the mall from the exit on the R version. I think that, yeah, maybe they'll, for the regular, the R, they'll have us just go in the lower. Maybe the RT will have us like maybe go in the lower or top. Maybe it can change per lap. I mean, there's a lot of options really. Looking
Yeah, to be
forward
honest
to
with
that.
you,
Yeah.
last year I could really focus on just the assumed tracks because we only got them like once every 1 or 2 tours. But like it's been every tour having to try to get coverage for all these assumed tracks, and because they've been coming out with these brand new track after brand new track. In fact, I think for a lot of those people who really like the retro tracks, there's not many tracks left. So Puffton asks, since Coconut Mall has been announced, we all know a certain Coconut Mall girl, I think she's referring to herself, will be very happy with no longer having to advocate for it. If you were in the shoes of Coconut Mall girl, what track would you advocate for, and what would your petition be? Are there any left? Are there any retro tracks left that you would fight for and ask Nintendo and submit tickets for and say, please, please, Keys, give me this track? 'Cause I think Coconut Mall was one of the most heavily asked for.
Yeah, I think that was probably, if you were to poll the audience, Coconut Mall is probably number one. For me though, it's really like anything from Mario Kart Wii, because that was one of the first games after being like a kid, like, you know, whether it was like in college or after college, it was Mario Kart. It's Mario Kart Wii was such a communal game. You know, you usually played it with like, you know, people over at your house. I have positive memories pretty much for any Mario Kart Wii track. But I was actually, when I, you know, read the questions for today, Koopa Cape was one of the Mario Kart Wii tracks. It's the one where you actually like kind of ride in these like water pipes. And so there's sections where, you know, if you're on the water, you're going faster, similar to some of the Rainbow Roads. Like we have like those little arrow strips, you know, where if you hit it, you kind of get a little speed boost. And it had a few little fun times too, where if you got like some jump boosts where it had, you know, like the ground underneath it was missing. And it was just, I don't know, it was a really fun track. That's definitely one that I hope to see.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Wii, yeah, that's an excellent Mario Kart game. And especially I feel like the Rainbow Road from that one. I mean, I know we're all like kind of Rainbow Roaded out. We've seen so many of it in this Mario Kart Tour, but in Wii, the Rainbow Road is really good. And it's on the Wii, it was challenging too. So, I mean, in Tour, you can't fall off, I'm sure. But it would be a very high scoring track, very fun. I'm sure it would be challenging in its own right. So that's a great option. And yeah, like Koopa Cape is great too. For Koopa Cape, I mean, the R version would be interesting as well, because you're going like back down that pipe and how you come back up. They would add a lot of ramps, I'm sure. And like the waterfalls, it's going to be, yeah. I'm looking forward to that one as well. Yes.
Good. Any other suggestions? What?
I have some. I am an avid Mario Kart Double Dash fan, and as such, I'm been very disappointed of the lack of Double Dash content in Mario Kart Tour. Like we've only got Yoshi Circuit and Dino Jungle, and they debuted in the very first tour, and since then nothing, no tracks at all. And now Mario Kart
was Double Dash GameCube?
Yeah, it was on GameCube. Yeah, Mario Kart Wii, who didn't get a track since just after the first anniversary tour, now is getting 4 racetracks in Mario Kart Tour. But yeah, Double Dash doesn't have anything really. As for that, I would probably advocate for some of my favorite racetracks on that game. Some of you might be familiar with them. You got like DK Mountain, that was in Mario Kart Wii. That was another fan favorite. I also like the Waluigi Stadium. We haven't really had like a proper stadium racetrack yet in Mario Kart Tour. And
you know what's? You bring up a lot of good points. I'll say just right now, we have a lot of DK tracks and none of DK alts, which blows my mind. So I mean, we have like DK Summit, DK Mountain, DK, you name it. We have it. Coconut Mall even should be a DK track. What do you think they're doing?
Yes.
Yeah, Coconuts are like a part of the Donkey Kong franchise. Like it was the whole point of like the CGI cartoon, if anyone remembers that, where like King K. Rool keeps trying to steal the crystal coconut for his evil deeds. and then Donkey Kong has to get it back to save the day.
So DKQuagmire, you got to tell us, what are they doing, man? Why are they not giving us any DK stuff?
I have absolutely no idea, but we're getting a Rambi runner, I think, next tour. I think it looks like a special a white pipe tour, pipe with like, I think there was a silver snow skimmer and the white Rambi
bruiser.
runner. But yeah, there's a new bruiser as well. So
yeah, but I don't think that's really DK themed. It's just some white cards, I think. If I had to guess, I'm not an expert on this, but I think somebody on Reddit said it could be a licensing thing because DK is owned by Rare, the company, and Nintendo seems to be have a hard time to get control of the characters and may not be allowed to use more characters than they already do right now. So maybe they have an agreement for the current characters, but not beyond that. I think somebody on Reddit quite a while back, maybe a year ago, posted something about this, and it looked pretty believable.
I hadn't heard that. Oh my goodness.
RIPKG, you know.
Man. That's sad. It makes a lot of sense. They had to. I mean, there has to be a reason why they've been avoiding it. I mean, there's too many people that would be to your point, Crazi. Everyone would be pulling out their rubies for a pipe with DK in it.
Yeah, even if it's just Donkey Kong with a top hat, I think everyone would pull for him.
He'd be wearing a Speedo. We'd be like, yeah, let's go. Like, just, oh man, I can't believe. So let me ask you this: let's start, and maybe, who knows, maybe not end the debate, but start the debate. Is this coconut egg? Do you think this is kind of a DK cart, or is it a coconut mall cart? Or, I mean, can we lump it into the DK category or not? Is it not DK at all? Have you seen
it? I think it's making the egg one shape, but I don't know if it's going to be related to anything coconut related. I think it's just going to be something egg. It's like gold egg and dreamy egg.
I think the wheels are the same as the wheels of the Banana Master. So that's kind of that's kind of DK related, but I mean, yeah, it's not too much, I would say.
Yeah, that could also make that little egg cart bigger too with the bigger wheels. I mean, it can be maybe slightly less small, which is interesting.
Yeah. Well, you know, if you look at the Banana Master, like those wheels are really big. They're like literally slices of banana there. Makes you wonder, like, what if this is just a massive cart that's just like really tall, and like we just don't, you know, because it's so hard to see from these pictures what's going on. I don't know.
Well, maybe not massive, but I think it would be definitely much better than the other egg carts, which are so tiny, so almost unusable. So I think it would take it to that medium category, which is bearable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Banana Master is massive. It's a really large cart. So
one of my favorite carts.
Hey, we'll see.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite. I don't know why they don't bring it back or give it like one of those nice little buffs, but maybe they will. Ferdinand asked a good question. He says, don't know if I can make questions, but here we go. Seeing this good trend of new tracks almost every tour, what do you expect for the next year to come? We kind of touched on it briefly. Is this sustainable? Let's focus on tracks. Are they going to keep coming out with these retro tracks? Do you think they'll come out with, you know, new tracks? Or do you think that they'll keep, you know, throw much more cities as we go into the year? I don't know what's going to go on, but maybe you guys can help me think about it. What do you think when it comes to new tracks, rest of the year? Can they sustain this volume?
I don't think they can. Yeah, go ahead.
So I think that track inflation, it's kind of a thing too, not as much as like the drivers and karts and gliders, but so if they keep adding tracks at this rate pace, it would obsolete the 2019 and 2020 tracks, because I mean, we've seen like the Bowser's Castle, the Warrior Shipyard, we've seen all these tracks so much in the last few months, and we're not really seeing like I mean, maybe this is a good thing, but we're not really seeing the remix Chacos and these old tracks, and I mean, and we're not even seeing the great ones like Shy Guy Bazaar, Rock
Yep.
Mountain. Um, they will obsolete these older tracks if they keep making new ones. Which I guess it makes the game more fun, but it can mess up the value a little bit on these items that have old tracks. And so for ranked, I think that it completely obsoletes or almost completely. And for ACR, it definitely damages like the value of these older tracks. So
yeah, I have to agree there. I was looking at my coverage and gaps in my coverage, and basically looking at all tracks, excluding the cities. But then again, I thought like, well, yeah, we never see Shy Guy Bazaar and Dinner in the Jungle and stuff like that. So let's focus on all the tracks that came out last 6 to 8 months or so. And that gave a complete different picture. Then it was like, oh, wait a second, I need to invest in the wonderful things. Oh, wait, I need to invest in Armored Rider, for instance. And then I have coverage on almost all the tracks that got released this year. And that seems to be the way to go. And especially if they keep this up, keep releasing new tracks, then but it's a smart way for them to do it, because it gives new players a way to be competitive. I mean, if they would give us a couple of tours with mainly very old tracks from the first 2 years of Mario Kart Tour, then these new players will be like, whoa, I got crap coverage and I cannot compete. And I'm in ranked with people who's got all these old items. So I think there's probably a reason they're doing this, especially with the bridge to Mario Kart 8. But they cannot keep it up, and I think at some point in the year they will probably have some sort of special tour, maybe all RTs, maybe all cities. You can think of a couple of teams, so that they at least give us a couple of tours with no new track at all, and just some sort of themed tour, which they will give a mix of all tracks. Hopefully, I would say.
Yeah, awesome points too. And there's the potential for some double-edged swords there, which is, like if you bring back a Shy Guy Bazaar, right, for older players, if you buff, let's say, Rosalina Voldendam on Shy Guy Bazaar, for an older player, that's not going to do anything because you've already got great coverage there. And for a newer player, if they're kind of a little bit in tune to the meta in the last 6 to 9 months, it's like, well, do I need to invest in this if I'm never going to see it again? That wouldn't really inspire you to invest, tickets into something like that. I think another shout out to Frenzy Fangirl. Her idea was that if they would start bringing back some of the older tracks, you could help the new players out by giving those buffs to the Mii suits, because then that wouldn't really hurt new players, but it would also kind of, give people more opportunity to use or hurt old players. I'm sorry. But yeah, and I've always been an advocate for, like, I think the 10th or 11th cup, if that's what they're called, whatever the set of 3 tracks is called. Cup, I think should always just be like all like old school random whatever, whether it's like, a New York one and all these old stuff. I think every tour should have like one cup of that, because it's there's some great tracks that we just like never see. Yeah.
Yeah, I will say, with like the Kart meta trifecta video that I had, I really just focused on the assumed tracks over the last 12 months, kind of to Rakker's point, just really kind of focusing in on that coverage. And I think that most players should think about things that way. Maybe we will even see some trackers start to evolve that way as well. Because there is, am I missing this track somewhere over here, on Remix Mario Circuit something or other? Yeah, sure, maybe. But it actually, what's funny is it makes normals and supers nearly obsolete, except for the newer ones, because if we're not going to see these tracks, the Calamari Desert 1 or whatever, like we're not seeing it. So these supers and normals, like I just have like the cap ticket sitting around because I don't really ever use it. But yeah, I think you really have to focus on these assumed tracks over the last year, because they keep recirculating, which I think for new players that helps them out, and gives them, that, hey, maybe I should, I've seen this over and over again. I need to put tickets on this. And like, it does add some recency to the game. It's a good problem to have. I think when level 8 hit, we were like, Nintendo, you got to give us something. You got to help us out here, because we don't see why you're doing this. And they've delivered. They've given us new track after new track after new track. I do wonder if it is sustainable, but at this point in time, I don't really care. Keep giving us new tracks, even if it's at 75% of what we've been seeing here lately. I'll consider this a win. This has been really fun. based on time, just want to hit on one question. N2CJN asks, any chance they'll move the token shop inside of Coconut Mall? Could be an anchor store. I think that was more of a joke, but actually, I was as I was reading this question, I had an idea. What if, like, in Coconut Mall, or what if on a track, they had a specific part of the track, and that's the only place you could get tokens. Like, they had like this, like maybe a water fountain there in Coconut Mall, where like you went into the fountain, and like there was a bunch of tokens there, but that's like the only place you could get tokens or something like that in the whole tour. I don't know, like something like that would be really, really fun for them to do. I don't know if they'll have a token shop inside the Coconut Mall, but I found that one a little entertaining. Thank you, N2C. All right, let's get into Dr. Tour. Chris, we'll let you get the kind of first shot at this, but what are your thoughts on the Dr. Tour? Will we see a variety of Dr. Alts throughout the year? Are the doctors going to be the new cats of 2022?
I hope not. Yeah, no, it's kind of funny because once you're in med school, you realize that when your life just revolves around medicine. Anytime you're not doing medicine, the last thing you want to see is anything medicine related. So I'm happy for the Dr. Mario fans. If there's a new skill, then that's always, cool and interesting, even if it doesn't end up being sort of plus value. But I will only pull on Dr. Mario if he's, a plus skill, or if he's really good for my account. If it's like knowing Nintendo, and even teasing this pill, and I kind of thought heart would be his skill before I guess people found out that these pills might be a new skill. I was kind of joking to myself, like, all right, well, so he'll probably be like bomb cannon, just because it makes no sense, and that's kind of more consistent with some of Nintendo's decisions. But yeah, I'm 50 times more psyched for Coconut Mall than I am for Dr. Mario. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I will say, for those of you who didn't know, I'm actually in healthcare. That's what I do. I've been in healthcare for the last like 7 years. Actually, what's funny is being in healthcare, and maybe Chris, you can agree with this, but like most people in healthcare, when it comes to trying to fix what healthcare and what's going wrong with healthcare is we actually don't like pills. We want to like recommend more holistic ways for people to resolve the problem. Like instead of, taking a diabetes pill, why don't, focus on, eating things that are, low in sugar, etc. So
yeah, more natural, like way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, like I see the pill and it kind of strikes a nerve. Like I don't like that people think like doctor pill, doctor medication. Like to me, like that's not what medicine is, but I get it too. It's been around for a long period of time. And I wasn't like super excited about, Dr. Mario back in the day, but I think like this is kind of interesting. It's a way to spice things up. I mean, I think this Dr. Tour, could be kind of a filler tour, and thinking about things like, all right, we got a new, but they're giving us everything that you guys have checked, and that's kind of why I've been thinking in my mind, what is a filler tour? And appreciate you guys all the feedback, but like unless he's got a top skill, like to me, I don't know. I'm probably with you, Chris. I'm probably not going to pull for him. I'm going to treat him like every other driver, which is, very different from, what I thought I would hope to explore. In fact, I was trying to find a way. There's a guy in All Cup ranking called Ortho.Doctor is his name. And I was like, oh, it'd be so cool to have him on. But I can't, he's not on any Discords or anything like that. But if you're seem to be out there, Ortho Doctor, reach out. I'd love to have you on the next Kart Talk. It'd be so fun to have you next tour.
Actually, can I interrupt right there?
Yeah,
I was looking for my All Cup ranking score, and I think this guy is probably going to end up going for like top 100 next tour. If anybody knows Dr. Fart MD, there's currently number 800 right now. So sorry, I just saw that earlier and it cracked me.
my goodness.
You just said that on the internet, Chris.
Hey, I didn't. I'm the messenger. Okay.
It's on the internet. Like
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, it's by the way, saying
I've seen
Dr.
worse.
MD, PhD, like the
it's like Department of Redundancy department. Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Yeah, good points there. So what skill are you expecting to have? Is he going to have a pill skill that operates? Is it going to be similar to Fireflower? What do you think? What kind of skill is Dr. Mario going to have? Or Luigi Mario? Are they going to have the same skill? What do you guys think about their skills?
Well, I mean, we saw, I think, all their animations. They're like jumping animations in the trailer. So where are those pills? And they didn't like throw pills out really. So where are those pills coming from? To me, they're not part of Coconut Mall. They have to be from the item. I mean, I think they're both gonna get it, just like Tanuki Mario and Tanuki Rosalina got the leaf, the infamous leaf that everybody forgot about. I've never used the leaf really. I mean, I don't want to use it. So yeah, I think it's gonna both be. They're both gonna have pills, and people are saying it's gonna be like a fire flower hammer hybrid. You kind of like throw them. There's three. They bounce because there's like wind kind of like propelling them in the teaser from Thursday. So we'll see. I mean, I think they're both gonna get the new skill.
My guess would be, because it is like a capsule, which is, you know, consistent with the lore of Dr. Mario, like those types of pills you can physically open up. So my guess would be it's kind of like a Yoshi egg reskin, where it's something that goes and then kind of breaks open and has something happens with that. That would be my guess.
Yeah. What if like if you like take it to level 4, like they blow up after you throw them, like bombs come out, and like that just expands the radius. I mean, like who knows really? Or I mean, they could just add another pill and be boring, or we could see something funny. Maybe like they just like leave like a residue on the floor and like trip you up like an oil spill. I mean, there's so many options really.
We still don't have an oil spill.
What's that? An oil spill?
We still don't have a item for like an oil spill on the track, where someone just dumps the oil spill on the track for like other races to slip up on. Like we haven't had that yet.
That used to be a classic skill, right? Old
I'm not
versions.
sure if it was.
Oh no.
I know it was on old
I
race
don't
tracks
think
like
so.
the
They're just
man-race
obstacles.
circuits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just obstacles.
Well, cool. No, I mean, man, it's gonna be interesting to see. I would really hope it would be like a Yoshi egg style, because that would be like if it was heat seeking, like that would be way cool. Otherwise, like one of the things I don't like about Giga Bomb is it just you just kind of press the button and like you have no I want to use skill to like try to hit somebody, and so like that doesn't have any skill. Not that like I mean heat seeking doesn't have skill, but at least it like does. I can count on it doing something.
It's more interesting, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Any other opinions on the pill skill?
Well, the funny thing is with Tanuki Mario and Rosalina, we saw this skill in the trailer, and everybody thought it was going to be awesome because it's going to stack up coins, and then it was a huge disappointment. And now we don't see the skill, so maybe it's the other way around, that it is awesome. I don't think so, but it could be. I mean, we haven't seen it this time, and we get 2 new characters and 2 new characters with both a new skill probably. Also funny that with the Nookies, Rosalina was in a special pipe, and now it seems like they're both in the regular pipes. They could surprise us, but maybe if you hit an opponent, the capsule breaks open and the coins come out, for instance. I mean, then it could be a very good skill, but it's probably not, and it will. My money would also be on Yoshi Egg or something.
Yeah. You know, with Super Bell and Super Leaf and like these skills that really aren't that great, like they're pretty. It's nice that they can kind of keep that to their, I don't know, demographic. Like, you know, right? So like a Tanuki is going to have that skill. A cat is going to have this skill. Either one, I can just avoid them both. Whereas like if it has like this super skill that's just like meta breaking, it's gonna make it really tough, you know, to incorporate that going forward into new stuff. So I get that. I asked a question here about so Rombi Rudder coming back, the Coconut Egg. Is this the annual Donkey Kong Tease Tour that leaves us empty-handed, or is this a preview of a much-awaited Kong Tour? I know we already kind of talked to you, Rakker, a little bit about this Reddit post, which I'm gonna have to go and check out. Maybe I could even post it in the description. But do you think the DK dream is dead?
I don't think we're getting anything next tour. I think it's just a tease, and we're just going to be left empty-handed, as you say. But we don't know if there's going to be a Kong tour later on in the summer. Maybe a tropical themed one. That's the dream, anyway.
Well, we're waiting for so long already. You kind of get a feeling if they wanted to do it, they would have done it already. So it's probably never going to come.
Yeah. So I guess with the DK, so last year around May, we had the Bowser versus DK. That was not a great representation for the DK fans. And then before that, we had the original Jungle Tour, which was a great representation. I think so. I think we would have had next tour, which is in May, I think that would have been like a jungle DK themed tour. Except in the news, they said there's going to be a doctor fest over the next 2 tours, and I think, I mean, they could make a doctor DK. I mean, but to me that kind of disproves them doing anything for the DK fans, unfortunately, for this year, unless they break precedent and maybe release it later in the summer. We can see.
Great point there. All right, so based on time, I want to finish with talking about Mies. It's getting real, guys. We are, after this week, assuming you win the next, this week, and then the next 2 weeks, we will have a gold Mii, and there's going to be a lot of shakeup. So just kind of wanted to get your feedback. So N2CJ and asked this good question. Pop it up here. How many more Miis are coming into this series? One every tour until the 24 slots are full? Or will we get a break first? Is it just going to be wave after wave after wave until we get to 24? Or what are your thoughts on the Miis?
Oh, I hope they make a cap soon at the moment, because I've already missed one driver, and that was the King Boo Misu in the Samurai Tour. Even though I had pretty good loadouts on both weeks, I both got sniped the first place spot on both weeks. So sorry, yeah, I'm already missing out on 10 base points. But I'm hoping that if there's a cap or a limit to how much you can raise the base points with, that missing one driver won't make that much of a difference. But even if you miss one, you could still get another driver and max out the base points by just getting that other driver. That's what I'm thinking anyway. Mm-hmm. But it wouldn't hurt to get all the 24 slots if they even decide to do 24 drivers, which is going to be a lot, actually. It's going to be quite the commitment for the collectors.
Well, I mean, as somebody who's been buying the Mii suits out of the shop, I kind of like got into this like collector's mindset with the Miis specifically, but I'm starting to regret it because they're not like pumping the brakes on these Miis. I mean, it's expensive, and I don't like I said, I don't spend very much. It's expensive to keep with all these plus skills and to keep buying the Miis for 70. A break from them would be much needed, but from how it's going, I don't think they're going to stop it. I think they're just going to keep pumping until for the rest of the year, and then they got their 24. They'll just keep maybe reuse them. Maybe they'll bring back the King Blue suit in ranked in like a year, or they'll put some in ranked or packs or make a pipe. I think that for the rest of the year they'll just keep on adding these. And it's going to be a slow but expensive trickle.
Yeah, we might get a Mii suit pipe eventually in the end. A bit like the Hanafuda pipe from last year, where they just chucked all the Hanafudas into one pipe for those who missed it out on the previous year. I could see them doing the same thing with the Mii suits, like chucking all the Mii suits into one pipe, but not giving us a single spotlight. Like, it's just going to be complete random luck, whether you get the Mii suit you want or not.
That's a good point. I mean, I think the Hanafuda pipe was arguably maybe unanimous. I don't know, but like the worst pipe ever.
The worst pipe ever. Yes,
because it wasn't useful. But like these are actually useful. Yeah, it's just kind of the same thought process as that it's all random and you can't get what you want to get, but at least they're useful. Like, if you're getting more DK or more whatever, there's just so many of them. It might be really, really tough. But ultimately, like that would be an amazing pipe. I would love that pipe. But like, in order to get what you wanted, or in order to really like take advantage of it, you'd have to be saving 5,000 rubies and just go bonkers on that pipe. And maybe that's like thinking about like what Standler did, saving up all his tickets and grinding his levels. Maybe like that's like the ultimate move is like to save up all these rubies for that Mii pipe. I don't think a Mii pipe's coming this year, but I've been wrong on making those bold statements. I don't know if you guys saw it today. But in the tour preview, they talked about this mystery Mii. I don't know what you guys think. What is going on there?
It's a coin box.
Coin box.
Yep.
It has to be a coin box.
It's not.
It's 100% a coin box. Who says it's not a coin box? All right, Chris, Larry, State your position.
Save
They
me, like I've got nothing.
cannot release another
It's just a
coin
box. It's
driver
just a
now
cardboard
again.
box. Sorry, Larry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
They cannot release another coin box again. Like we have Yoshi Gold deck, we already have the gold me suit, and yeah. But I don't know what it will be, yeah. But I mean, if there's a driver with a coin box, then we also need one for Lucky 7, for Boomerang, for like, are they doing every item or?
Can you just imagine like a Lucky 7 on top of a me head?
Head.
Just that would look so
7
weird.
head. Yeah.
Yeah, just a 7 head. Oh boy.
Oh,
Well,
I mean,
on the
Sorry, go ahead. Oh, I was gonna say that they have shown that they've, they're doubling up on, me skills. It's not like the skill is exclusive to like one
True.
specific me suit. I just really hope it's not, because in my mind, I kind of saw them just with the timing of things. Because a me pipe would make tons of money. I definitely see in the future a non-spotlight me pipe because of the way they valued the me's right now with rubies. If the cheapest you can get a me suit is 70 rubies or first and ranked, it would kind of undermine those investments if in the future you could get it for 45 rubies. So I definitely see that. But if you think about like a New Year's Eve next year, a me pipe with the with the gold me suit in it, because eventually they're gonna have to hopefully at least give some of us that either aren't able to get to tier 80, a shot at it once it's kind of gotten its biggest boom in value. So it's certainly possible that could be somebody said thwomper, but he's not like a cube. They're more of a rectangular shaped, somebody online, not anybody here. I just really hope it's not, because I'm just starving for rubies right now.
Well, the thing is, you can see, if you look closely on the back of the head, you can see like the outline of like the top of a question mark. Yeah, I mean, really, what else could it be? And if they make a coin box me suit, it's gonna have a coin box. They're not gonna give it bubble or whatever, bananas. Yeah, and they released it at the same time as the gold suit.
Yes, we would get access to it on the same exact day as the gold suit.
That's hilarious.
It's a super trolly for sure, but like I don't know like what they expect us to do. Like this is all just too much. You're not Scar asks, I would be interested to hear a discussion considering the value of buying me suits versus 2 10 pulls for the same amount of rubies. Is the opinion that it's going to work out to be better to buy all of the suits and then rely on them over time, or what you get in pipes? I'm thinking of the opinion of a X-Dolphin, now Gold Pass only, where you can't go into everything. So, to your point, Crazi, like you're gonna have to pick. Like these rubies do not grow on trees. You're gonna have to say, I have 70 rubies here. I could pull for Voldendam, or I could pull for this or pull for that. And that's why I think in so many cases you just can't pull on week 2 pipes. In many of these cases, just because unless they have a top skill, it's just so hard. But where do you kind of when thinking about that scale, how do you value me's compared to what those rubies would be worth elsewhere?
Well, so getting a me for 70 ruby, I mean, if you think about it in the terms of getting a new high end driver for 75 or 70 rubies, I mean, that's a net win compared to draining a special pipe or 100 pipe or triple whatever 5 times that amount. The thing is though, but many of these me's, they don't have the value of a high-end driver. They have the value of like a super driver or a bad high-end driver. So they're getting like 8-9 tracks
because of how many total tracks. Yeah,
and there's so many of them too. They have to split them up. So I think the thing is, if you're invested in the me's, you have to really like put your tickets where your rubies are. I mean, that's really a principle you should do with even regular pipes. But if you want to use these character suits to fuel up your gold, silver, bronze, and any other like suits that are like shining stars, you want to use those and then put your tickets in them. So in several me's, that's where the value is really. Otherwise, it kind of is rubies on the drain unless you just want to own the me's. So you really got to put the tickets into it if you're putting the rubies.
Yeah, I have to agree there. I think there are three categories of Mii's. One is the one you buy for 70 rupees. They have very limited value. The weakest among with the one you got for free. I think that was the Luigi one. Then there's the second category that the Mii's you want from ranked. They are slightly better, getting slightly better buffs, slightly more tracks. And then there's a third category that's the bronze, silver, and the gold one. They probably have the best and the most tracks. The gold one will probably be at 20 when you're able to claim it. So that's quite decent, especially for a coin box. 20 tracks is good. So buying the Mii's for 70 rupees, you're buying the weakest Mii's, and you probably won't use them much. Yes, they can get buffed. Yeah, they can get buffed, and they buff the base points. But for a gold pass player who probably does not own the gold Mii suit anytime soon, do you really need 10 base points? Is it really worth 70 rupees? Probably for a gold pass only player, it's not the case. And you should focus on the normal characters, I would say. And for whales and for larger dolphins who will get the gold Mii suits quite soon, maybe not at the earliest, but a couple of tours later, it is worth to invest, because then you will have a gold Mii suit at 1600 base points after triple and capping it. And so, yeah, then it's worth it. But if you're gold pass or a very small dolphin, then probably not.
Really?
It's really interesting, because I was just thinking about it as you guys were talking. The Mii suits kind of, and please correct me if you disagree. They seem to cater more beneficially to the two extremes. The two extremes being very, very, very new players or extreme whales. Because either one of those, I think it would be easier to benefit from having a larger collection of Mii characters, as opposed to somebody who's just been playing a while, has a decent amount of characters, but isn't going to invest tons of resources in the Mii's. There's not a ton of value there. I don't know. That was just kind of an interesting thought I had. I don't know if you guys think that's reasonable.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I think to your point, a new player, they don't have much coverage. That allows them to be able to kind of play kind of a punch above the weight class, in that allowing them to be able to really even beat people who have these great, say DKQuagmire. He has this awesome loadout, been played from day one, but just not a whale. Maybe they can surpass them on a minor scale by having these Mii suits. I don't know. What are your thoughts, DKQuagmire?
Well, I think I mentioned this earlier, but I'm already behind in the game. Week one this tour, I came 4th place. So not only did I not get the Firefly, but I also didn't rank up. However, this week is looking a lot better than week one. So hopefully, week after next, the tour after next tour, I should get the gold Mii suit in the week 2. But even if I don't have access to the gold Mii suit on day 1, we got this mysterious coin box driver. So I might end up having to invest into that driver instead, just to win ranked in that week, because everyone else will be going for the coin box driver.
I hadn't even thought about that, man. That's true. That could make things really, really tricky. Yeah, I don't know what. I mean, because because that's one thing I thought about was with these Mii's. It's like, okay, I just can get the gold. I can just get the coin box one. Just get get the Lucky 7 one, get the boombox one, maybe the DK, and I'm good. Like, I don't need Rosalina. I don't need all these other things. But if they have 3 Lucky 7s, you got a lucky King Boo, and then you got this lucky silver suit, and then you actually have a Lucky 7 head looking thing. I'm like, I'm gonna have to get 3 of these and 3 of these and 3 of these. It's gonna be tough, and then you can't invest in all of them, and I bet you they're all gonna have the same overlap. So it's gonna be it's gonna be a wild year, man. It's gonna be a wild year. Well, we are coming up on our 2 hours here together. Can you guys believe that? It flew. I don't know if it flies by for me every time. So I don't know. It's flown back for you guys, but the way that we've been wrapping this series up is just each person giving one piece of advice for a newer player. So somebody who might have started maybe even right when this craziness all started, with this the New Year's tour with Meowser, etc. I think like that's right when everything started going bonkers. Let's say someone started there. What piece of advice would you give to them that might be able to help them either get caught up or be able to kind of play and maybe something that they didn't know? So I know ThisBeChris and Larry, you guys have done this before, so I'll let you guys take a stab at this. But ThisBeChris, you want to start us off?
Yeah. First of all, thanks for having me on. It's awesome being a super stud and having this opportunity. So little plug there. I think I'm going to give my piece of advice. I'm going to give a shout out to John Boy, who recently on the Discord I had posted a little picture about the amazing karts right on I forgot what track it was. One of the ranked tracks this
week.
The
Sunset Wilds RT.
Yeah, and then of course like you posted yours, somebody else posted theirs, and their loadouts like way better than mine. So I made a joke that like I should not have posted a picture of my like pathetic loadouts, and his response I think is my piece of advice to everybody, and he said, as long as you're having fun, who cares? So find, kind of back to what I said earlier, however you enjoy the game, you can enjoy this game in so many different ways, and if you're having fun, then you're doing it your right way, especially if you're playing within your means. It's just a game.
Well said, Doc. I would say that for that track specifically, it's not really anything to boast about when you're wasting coverage like that, because there's the all three of the meta trifecta are on that track, and then in addition to that, the Black Dozer and then the Sakura Hot Rod. So these are all things I've really heavily invested in. So to me, like that's almost like everyone laugh at me because I'm literally wasted a track, put so many tickets, I can only use one cart. And I have all these crazy carts. So yeah, it was more it was definitely a whale post, but it's one of those things where you dread. You have nightmares like, oh my goodness, if I have this one thing happen, like that's really probably my biggest fear of playing this game is like having these tracks where I have like all these great carts all having the same track. That is worst case scenario for me. I dread it. So you can laugh at me. You can put the laugh emoji on that one when you see it. Larry, what piece of advice would you have to a newer player?
I would say don't stress, cause like the highest level is now level 8. So if you start now, it will be even harder to get even close to that. So yeah, just play the game as you want and don't stress and don't look like what people are doing, which are playing since like day one, because they of course have a better account. Yeah, like grind player level. Do your best, and yeah, using spreadsheets, and yeah, to get the most of your account and also the most out of your time. Yeah.
And if you feel like you don't have enough time to grind a boombox track, just grind levels. I that was my advice to you, Chris, when you were saying like, hey, I'm kind of getting a little burnt out, not quite having as much fun. Just race on 200cc. I mean, honestly, I sometimes do it just one-handed. I usually play with like holding my phone with my other hand. But like I just would sit on the couch, just like with holding my son in one hand. I'm like, I'm gonna do 200 cc's, and it was just like grinding the player level, and just it's much more casual. I love doing it by the pool, just like casually, just grinding 200 cc's, getting your player level up. When you grind on 200 cc, you can actually increase your player experience level faster than if you were doing 150. For those who didn't know, DKQuagmire, what piece of advice would you have to new players?
For new players, I would actually suggest not to pour on any pipes unless you have 450 rubies, because you might see a pipe and there's a driver I really want, but then you use up all your rubies and you don't get your driver, and then you end up feeling disappointed about not getting that driver. So I would say don't fall into that trap. Save your rubies. Just save until you get your 450, and then wait until the opportune moment when you get that driver you really, really want. I mean, this isn't really a problem for like the other bigger spenders, like the dolphins and the whales. They can afford to just buy the packs and get the full pipe drains. But for the newer players, they won't be able to do that. And it's the same with like the coins as well, the daily selects. Like, you're not going to be able to buy all the stuff that you see every day in the daily selects. But yeah, just keep collecting the rubies and the coins, and then if you see something you like, then you can hopefully go and try and get it. Then that's all I have to say on that.
Really good advice. I couldn't say it better, man. I 100% agree for sure. Crazy. What advice would you have for a newer player?
Yeah, so I think for me, I just don't as a new player, it can be easy to like limit yourself and not like think like like kind of just like play rank and not care much. Hey, if you're casual, like that's probably the healthiest way to play this game. I mean, hey, all the power to you. But if you want to be competitive, like don't limit yourself. Set these goals. Like, okay, when's my first 40K in one track, 50K? Hey, look into maybe trying top 1,000. Get your first 100K rank up, build it up, and then maybe hit your first 60K. Make a top 100 push. I mean, I never thought I would be able to make top 100, and hey, I made it the Samurai Tour. It was so gratifying. It took a lot of grinding, a lot of stressing, a lot of not that many tickets actually. I didn't save that much, but hey, I got my thing. It was awesome, and then just set yourself goals and crush those goals. Like don't limit yourself. And then as a new player, it is important to have that foundation of both learning how to drift manual and how to keep combo. Once you get that, you can build your skill by playing and setting goals and winning items. Yeah, so just have fun, set yourself goals and crush those goals.
Yeah, and on that point, I probably should ask you, Crazy, what's next, man? You got top 100, you have this world record. I mean, is there anything that you haven't done? I mean, once you get those benchmarks, what's the next benchmark you're going to set for yourself?
Well, I was thinking about that. I mean, so I have a favorite character group. I love the King Boos. I have them all, like I think level 8. I don't have the
That's
super
right,
one yet.
King Boo Luigi Mansion, 8
I have
1400.
yes, Carlos showed it on the stream. I have the meme character at 8 1400 because he's my favorite and I love racing with him. And when he shows up in ranked, I want to make sure he's the best option and nobody else is stealing that track from him. So hey, it's a waste of tickets to some, but it was a labor of love. And I mean, I've been in top 1,000 for the last few months, like every tour. So that's been a goal. It's easy for me. I got my top 100. I don't know if I'm going for it again. I got my 70K. 80K is probably never possible. Even with level 9, max is like 76, 77K, I'm sure. I don't really know where to go next. I mean, I'm just taking it easy in Amsterdam, really. I mean, having fun, just seeing what happens. Maybe I think what I could take as my next goal would be to finally get good at saving tickets because that's something I've never been good at. I think my goal is to hit 20 of each ticket type. I've never had anywhere near that. So
wow,
we'll see.
Okay, man. Well, good luck with that. Saving is
tough.
and
one more thing. There was kind of like a community, like we were having fun. We kind of gathered around. So in the week 2 pipe, there's this funny new glider. It's called the Green Sprout.
Yes.
Me and some friends. Yeah. We made some
kind of
like
this.
jokingly bets. Yeah. I'm taking that thing to 8. So I guess the saving will happen after, and I'm not alone in that. So we're kind of like having fun with that Green Sprout, seeing what happens. I guess that's kind of just like a fun move.
That's the GSG, right? The
the
Green
GSG
Sprout gang.
Oh boy, yep. I have some friends that did want to hear that on the podcast, and hey, you know who you are.
Oh, I've seen it. I've already seen it in my DMs. It's a movement.
Oh boy.
I've pulled it twice. I don't mind jumping on that bandwagon. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna wait a little bit. No offense, but I'm gonna wait just past the tour that I'm getting it in. Yeah, just because glider tickets don't grow on leaves.
They don't grow out of sprouts out of the ground. Yeah,
they don't sprout.
Hey, I mean that's the smart move. I encourage you to only take it up if I mean when the value is there. But if you want to just have fun, just throw some tickets on it. It can't hurt. It's a green shell glider. It's in a week 2 pipe. It's the only glider this tour. We'll see.
Yeah, no, here's the thing, guys. Ultimately, I hear so many people. This is another comment I get. I probably get this even more frequently. It's someone says, "Oh, well, for me, this is a really powerful insert cart glider, whatever it is." And they're like, I'm like, okay, what is it? And they're like, oh, it's 8,700. It's like, okay, well, anything that's 8,700 is going to be really valuable for you, because whatever 18, 15, whatever, even if it has 10 tracks, like for you, King Boo's Luigi Mansion, perfect example, you're going to use him on those tracks. And you're going to use your favorite driver, and you're going to have fun with it. And so, I think when some people say like, oh, this is really useful for me, what I think is really helpful is when I say, hey, I have this at like 7,595, but it's not useful for me. So for me, it's like, that's the snow crystals. It doesn't do anything for me, and I'm rarely ever using it, even though I have it at extremely high level. But if I were to take it to 8,700 and I wanted to use it every tour, it'd be super useful for me. So I think like that's the thing, is like I have a lot of things at 7,595. So all things equal, I'm not going to use it that often. But if I want to use something, take it to that level, have fun with it. And so for you guys, if that's your green spout, take it to that level, and you know that you're going to use it, and you know that you're going to have fun, and you know you're going to have joy playing the game. And so I absolutely love it. Go ahead, Chris.
Just to piggyback on that, for new players, when you go all in on something new, like Crazi just did, even if it doesn't end up having ridiculous long-term value, the odds of you using that item excuse me, in ranked over the next handful of tours is extremely high, because if they don't put it in ranked, then it really discourages people from pulling on 100 pipe items. So it might not be your number one, you max something out now, it might not be your number one driver, kart, or glider a year from now, but it's probably going to carry you through at least a couple ranks. Now that's a very safe assumption, I think.
No, I agree.
Keep in mind for new players, especially because when you're new, ranked is extremely important, because you need the resources that ranked provides. So that's definitely something that you can do. Go all in on something that you really like, whether it's aesthetically or a skill, and it'll do you well, at least for a while.
Yeah. And I just want to say, I don't have the green sprout max quite yet. I'm not a great saver, so I don't have the tickets to take it there, but I've thrown a few on it, and I will keep that up as the tours go on. And I will hopefully ride that ranks and value wave in the next couple months. So I agree.
And if you take a step back and you think like, hey, let's look at, say, Silver King or Black Rate Sale, or these like meta amazing items, like they're gonna have, let's say 30 tracks or something like that. Whereas something that doesn't have like great value, that we would consider like kind of a dud item, might have like 22, 23 tracks. So a difference of 7 tracks, is it the end of the world if you invest in something you love but give up 7 tracks? No, it's not the end of the world. You have the other 23 tracks that you absolutely love that item. So yeah, I think we kind of overthink like, this gives you more tracks, this is more powerful, these are better tracks. But at the end of the day, you got to love playing this game, or else you're going to get burnt out for sure. Talking about burnt out, Rakker, I'm sure you probably got a couple more hours of grinding here, but you're wrapping up your top 100. I wanted to kind of ask you, we didn't get to it, but what was the biggest surprise from grinding top 100 before we get to your finale question?
I guess how surprisingly easy you get your score on some tracks. I mean, we all know the typical tracks that are easy, like the Maple Freeway. Probably everybody with somewhat skill, and I'm definitely not one of the best players in Mario Kart Tour, but gets that 200 actions probably within 30 minutes. So, but there are also some other tracks, and you're playing, and you're like, this is probably going to take me 3-4 hours to get my score, and then within 15 minutes you got a double or even triple coin box frenzy run, and you're like, oh my god, I just hit the target in like 10 minutes, and then other tracks you just cannot get that run. And that's so horrible, and especially with boomboxing, I think that's also a tip maybe for newer players. Sometimes you got a lobby that is not that great, but you kind of chose that lobby because you already spent 10 minutes finding a lobby, and this is somewhat decent, but not great. You have to admit that, but you went for it, and you're spending half an hour, maybe 2 hours on that track, and you're not getting your run, and you probably should have built that lobby a long time ago. Especially on hard tracks, and boomboxing is one of the hardest things to do on tracks that it is hard to get that action count that's in the spreadsheet. Make sure your lobby is good, And it's not just getting the coin boxes in the right position, but could also be don't get annoying bots. I mean, some bots are just very aggressive, use multiplayer lines. Try to avoid those lobbies and don't be stubborn and stay in because you think you're going to get that score. And if I just hit my frenzy, then I'll outrun them. No, they will outrun you, and you will get hits and you will get blue shells. I mean, especially on hard AC tracks, make sure you got good lobby. And sometimes that takes 20-30 minutes, but it's a lot less frustrating than spending 4 hours in hard lobbies. So I guess regarding my top 100 attempts, that would be my main advice.
Really good point. Well, we're wishing you luck, man. We're all rooting for you. It's fun been watching you from afar in the Discord. But what recommendations or advice would you have to new players?
I think a lot of has been said already. A lot of good advice. My own advice would be baby steps. I mean, have fun. That's the most important thing, and set small goals. If you have a top shelf glider, maybe it's level 1. Try to hit a non-stop combo on a T track or an RT track, and try to only lose combo maybe once or twice on a normal or reverse track. If you're able to level up the glider to maybe level 3 or 4, you can try to hit a non-stop combo on a normal and a reverse track. So that would be the next step, and take it up from there. And once you are able to almost non-stop combo every track, I mean, there will always be hard tracks like Cheap Chip Island, for instance. That's quite hard. And New Bowser City is also quite hard, at least for me, especially if you don't have a level 6 or 7 glider. But once you're able to non-stop combo almost every track, then set a new goal. Basically say, I need to win it. I need to get in first place, but I need to spend as much time as possible on this track. Because if I spend more time and take wider lines, I probably get more actions. So maybe this jump, maybe I can get 2 jumps boost off of it. And then you're not worried anymore about losing combo. No, you're maxing out the actions from the track. But that's probably 6 months or maybe 9 months or 12 months after you started playing. But that should not be the beginning goal, but just small steps, and that will make you a great player.
And one day you'll be getting 70K on a track, and you'll be laughing your way to the bank there. So no, great advice. I appreciate that, and we're definitely rooting for you. It's been fun actually just watching this conversation and then seeing how bright it was in your background, Rakker. And now it's pitch black behind you. So it's been a fun 2 hours enjoying the conversation with you guys each, and appreciate you guys all taking the time to join us for 2 hours. We're going to say goodbye to everybody. So just, I guess, thank you guys for all the feedback to those new players. And we look forward to hopefully a new fun Doctor Tour coming up next Wednesday. But thank you guys for joining us at home. Thank you guys for joining us here on the podcast. And until next time, may the frenzy luck be with you. Bye, guys.
See you.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.
Bye.